Now that row right there, you're going to go down that. That's soybeans, right?
That's soybeans.
Otherwise known in the city as sushi. Think sushi.
Sushi.
Edamame.
Edamame. I have no idea what you city folks do with it.
Well, you know, it's
Oh, we make lots of things can be made. Everything from paint to food.
paint
To
to
plastics. Soybean is similar to the peanut in what you can make from it. It's very, very healthy, high in oil. You use soybean oil, a lot of it to cookie with. It's,
But you're not picking it by hand anymore. This machine is a pretty amazing thing. Now, are you going to watch that row yourself?
to the end of that field is about 3/4 of a mile.
It's a perfectly straight row, so somebody's doing something right.
Did that with GPS, baby.
Okay, so you plant with GPS, but you don't cut with GPS. No need to, right?
No, you can, but usually we're not. We don't get that accurate. I gotta find the drone. I'm gonna be right there.
What tells you when you're low enough?
I'm right on the ground. The hemp floats on the ground.
So you can't go too low, it'll stop. It just rolls.
It'll stop. And it floats. It just rides on the ground.
Now that will that clean the beans out as well as it does the wheat?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, right there. Well, you farmers have got it easy now, then, right?
Yeah,
Or 1/4's not gonna. You can't survive on 1/4 like they could in the old days.
oh, we farm somewhere around 5,000 acres.
7 square miles. What's the limit to how big you can get before you really have to have a lot of people dealing with it? Because you,
Charlie, we got a hired man by the name of Brian.
but you've done it just you two before, haven't you?
We did it until a year and a half ago. We hired Brian July the 1st last year. And before that, we did it. We'd have to hire truck drivers for harvest.
Because I remember when I was young, wheat would come up to about, well, of course I was shorter, but it had to be 4 or 5 feet tall.
No,
Wasn't that about right? 4 feet?
no, maybe 4 feet. But what happened when we raised crops that tall, they would lodge and fall down. And so through the breeding process, we shortened the straw so that they stand better and easier to harvest. And I'll tell you a story of going back when I get to a point up here. I'll show you something.
You're running a pretty straight line.
I've been doing this 60-some years.
This can be so relaxing in here. You could just easily fall asleep and veer off, right?
Oh, you could. I have. I have. Oh yeah.
Good thing you're not a heavy sleeper.
Oh, you wake up. You wake up. Now I got a phone call.
That's a phone call.
Oh, I got to take that. That's the experiment station. Oh, they're not very good. We didn't get any rain. We didn't get any rain in August. They're making 20 to 30, little over 30. That mark where it's green and then turns brown. We're gonna
Yes.
come to it. But you see it?
Yeah, why is that?
Okay. That field where it's brown has had soybeans planted in it before. A number of years ago, but before.
Mm-hmm.
This piece of ground has never had soybeans in it. And so never have had any soybeans in it. It didn't have the ability to put well as that over there.
Wow, and that's not from water, huh?
That's not the water. No, that's because it didn't have anything.
Now, if you would have known it was going to do that, would you have done something to it prior?
No, we do it. But next time, we'll be all right.
Now, is that something you have to, like, keep reading up on, or is that something that he learned when he was in school, or you learned at some point, or does it get to be word of mouth between farmers, or how do you figure that out?
All the above.
All of them.
All of the above. It's experience, what the university said. Now, see, the fellow I was just talking to, they've been planting their experimental plot on us for wheat for years. I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years.
And when they experiment, how big a plot is that going to be?
Oh, it won't be very big because they only plant 3 or 4 feet wide and not very long, but lots of ramifications. They'll take a couple. They'll see that.
What's the advantage to you letting them do that?
Well, let's see what different varieties of seed will do on our soil. I always tell them we learn more than they do because we'll learn what works here under our conditions because we've taken care of the ground and they're planting in what we've taken care of and prepared so then we get the seed. And it's good to keep in touch with these kind of guys.
Yeah.
I've worked with an experiment station at Hayes, Kansas State University for years.
That's the ones when you'll drive down the road and then you'll see a few signs,
Yeah.
right?
Some of those are seed dealers. Like Charlie, he puts up here there's signs. And that's Charlie's. Now this you can really see, and it's a line. You can see right to
it
the
is.
line where we had soybeans before and where we haven't had.
Now you call it Milo or sorghum. Milo's a slang term,
Same
right?
thing. Well, it's called grain sorghum in Africa, where it really came from originally. They call it corn.
Yeah, I looked that up and saw that they were, I think it was some years back, but they were the top producer of it in the world.
Oh yeah, that's where it came from. Today.
And some cultures make bread from it actually.
Oh yeah.
And here it's
Mexico.
just primarily food, right?
No, Mexico buys a lot of grain sorghum from here because they like a dark flour to make tortillas.
Ah.
They don't like the white bread flour, it's too white.
Never seen it here. But here, I was going to say here they primarily use for cattle, don't they? Or no?
Cattle feed, ethanol. The Chinese use it for hog feed.
Now this is your same combine you cut wheat with, right?
Yes.
And you and corn. So do you have to adjust?
Have put different heads on it.
It's the header only. It's not. What about the part that strips it from the?
It all works out. Now here, see, there's the line. You can see the line where there was soybeans and where there wasn't. Right there. Just a line as clear as mud. And these are better beans than those down there.
So we're saying that it got depleted. The soil got depleted.
No bugs, the good bugs in the soil from raising soybeans. They just.
No, I get you. Soil probiotics.
Yes, absolutely. There you go. But look how much these are much better beans than right there.
This filter system in here is like top first rate because you were in a cloud of dust from the outside.
Oh yeah. We didn't used to have a cab on our combines. Hey, I've cut a lot of crops without a cab. We started out first without any cabs. And then they figured out, okay, we'll build a cab and we put an air blower in it. Just blew air in it. Because you got to really pressurize the cab to keep dust out.
Oh my gosh.
And so the first combine that I had that had a cab on it had 2 blowers in it, but it wasn't air conditioned. Oh, it was a hot sun.
Oh my
And
goodness.
wheat harvest was terrible.
You had an umbrella, didn't you?
No, that's when I never liked umbrellas. But that's what you had if you didn't have a cab.
Wow.
You could have an umbrella, but I didn't like umbrellas. They just make a mess. You know, when we didn't have a cab, you'd go without
was something everybody got really excited about and did, but it looks to me like now harvest goes on other times of the year pretty much. So
We didn't start. My grandfather raised corn in the early 1900s and then got away from it. I'm not sure why. I think it just wasn't, they didn't have good seed. And so they raised basically wheat, hard red winter wheat. And my dad, he farmed about 1,000 acres, little, and he would always put out about 700 acres a week. Now, if a hailstorm or something ruined the wheat crop, but he would plant a little bit of Milo, not very much. And we used to have just straight bred, not hybrid seed, but straight bred seed, which wasn't as good. And then we got hybrid. Hybrid is where you have different parents, and the first generation, the F1 generation, is good, but you can't plant a hybrid seed only 1 year or it goes back to its parent. And so we started getting hybrid corn probably earlier than Milo, and I'm not familiar enough with that. But in Milo, we didn't get the hybrids until in the late 60s. And then there weren't very many of them.
I've noticed a fair bit of different breeds out here. Like the Milo will look different. Some was really tall.
Oh yeah. Well, now real tall would be a forage sorghum that they're going to cut for silage. But Milos can be a lot of different colors.
Yeah, I saw a red one and then almost a
Bronze,
almost
white,
like the color of that dust.
yeah, white.
Yeah, whitish. Why is that?
Oh, it's just different genetic characteristics of that particular variety. Now, see, I can't even see the road.
Yeah, you can't see a thing right now.
I have no idea where the road's at.
You're over here.
I have no idea where
You can see the left side.
I can't see any.
Well, this is what I saw you come in. Look in here. It's perfectly no dust in here.
I hope I'm going straight. Oh, I'm not too bad.
You're about half a row off on the left. Inside.
I got off. Just back up and get in the
For some reason, that gets down here, right there.
There it is. Now she buy it, and now she buy it in a sack.
Wow, this thing holds a bunch. How did you decide that you're doing it today?
Well, it was Monday. We don't like to work on Sunday. And
It's not raining.
it's not raining, it's dry, and the soybeans are ready to harvest. And when they're ready to harvest, you want to harvest.
Were they ready to harvest last Thursday? Wednesday?
Could have been, but not as good as they are today. A farmer only gets paid about 2 or 3 times a year. So you've got to, a farmer's interesting. It's not just farming. They've got to be a mechanic. They've got to be a chemist. They've got to be an accountant. They've got to be a marketer. If they have livestock, they've got to be a veterinarian. They've got to be an entomologist.
Well, now, wouldn't you agree that a lot of businesses are very busy and have plenty of customers, but they end up failing because whoever's running it mismanages their money and blows it all?
Oh, absolutely.
Stuff like that. So have you seen farmers who are...
Oh, absolutely. Oh, God, yes.
And what would you say their downfall is? I mean, I kind of mentioned it, but more specifically.
Most of the time, it's not being timely. They don't get things done in a timely fashion, and they miss that window of opportunity to plant or to harvest. or they need to be doing something, and they go to a ball game.
Interestingly, in cities, you'll see people who blow their money on ostentatious things that flaunt their wealth and things like that, living beyond their means. You can tell they're living beyond their means.
Yeah.
Whereas around here, do you see that?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, God.
But no Lamborghinis usually.
No, well, in the city they might buy cars. Out here it might be pickups. It might be just stuff. No, stuff. Lots of people have lots of stuff.
Or take trips a lot, right?
Take trips. Don't pay attention to what needs to be done. You know, there's a time when we had an infestation of insects that came in, chinch bugs that came into the Milo right after we planted it. And had we not found those right away and got them sprayed and killed, we could have lost the crop. And so you've got to pay attention to what's going on in the environment of what you're trying to raise.
How long ago was that?
Well, that was in June.
Oh, how did you? How could you tell?
Oh, hell, you go out and look. You have to scout your fields. Charlie, I used to do that. Charlie does that now. And he and Brian walk the fields about every week to keep track of what's happening out there, and if there's infestations of insects, if there are, what we need to do.
Well, okay, now, let me ask you this. For some farmers who are really good, they can get a really good yield off of their crop.
That's right.
Are there other farmers who they get their crop in and it comes, but just the yields are always low?
Right.
Because they don't watch stuff like that, or are they everybody pretty close to each other?
No, there's a lot of difference. Just how what their preparation of the ground, the seed that they use, the time when they plant and when they don't. There's many variations to everything.
It seems like the co-op ought to have some kind of a competition, with the big prize for whoever gets the top yields. You farmed out here for how many years?
My grandfather started right over there in 1904.
So that is an afternoon in the life of farming. That took about, I would say, a couple hours to do that much of the field. About half of it. But it does a good job and harvests those beans out and completely cleans them. Those beans are just about as, you don't have to get them weigh that much more clean. That thing gets them clean.